Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Against the Storm. This is a new city builder roguelite experience. Yes, I know what I just said, and yes, surprisingly, it does work. This game is brand new. It's going out into early access starting today as of November 1st, but some of us have had access to the demo for a little bit longer. I was actually talking to Potato McWhiskey not too long ago. You may have heard of him. He's another good YouTuber. Highly recommend his content. But he said to me, and I quote, "Stop everything you're doing and play Against the Storm immediately, you madman. It is quite literally the best city builder ever made. Ever. I will fight men to the death for this take." Very strong words coming from somebody that I respect, so of course I picked up Against the Storm. I've been playing with it, and I won't say that I feel quite as strongly about it as he does, but I do see the appeal. This is a very unique game with a lot of replayability, and I think it's going to get even better as time goes on and the development continues. So let's go ahead and jump into my save game, and I'll show you what's going on. So here we are in the world map. In this fantasy world, there is a dark and cataclysmic storm, I think called the Blight Storm, that ravages the world. It comes and goes in waves, but when it strikes, it wipes out everything in its path. The only safe haven for civilization that we know of is the Smoldering City, ruled by a mysterious queen. We are one of her viceroys, sent out into the world whenever the storm recedes to go and build a settlement, gather up crucial resources, and send them back before the storm returns and wipes away everything we've built up to this point. So this is where the roguelite element of the game comes in, because we're going to be building several different settlements again and again to gather up resources, upgrade the city, get stronger to take on larger and bigger challenges, but everything ultimately keeps getting reset and you go at it again and again and again. And every single settlement we build is going to be on a different map with different resources and different objectives. It's going to be extremely unique because every game is different, right? Nothing is going to ever play quite the same way. Nor is every settlement going to be a long commitment. Unlike other settlement games where you spend 20, 30, 40 hours building something up until you get so strong you feel like nothing can challenge you, in this game, you're only committed to about maybe 1.5 hours or so in a frantic race against time against the elements in order to make a civilization work, then you abandon it and move on to the next one. So it's got a faster pace, but it's still really, really engaging. I don't think I've ever played a city builder quite like this before. It's very exciting. So at this point, I've played through the tutorial, and I've done 2 more settlements to get some experience. Won't say that I know everything about the game yet, but I'm starting to get a feel for it. Let's set up our 3rd colony, and I'll show you how this works. So depending on where we place down our city, you can see we have different rewards shown up at the top left. Those look like hot cross buns to me, but we want those rewards. That's the primary currency used to upgrade the city. So I want to get, let's say, a total of 42. And depending on what biome you set up in, you'll have different effects. Again, closer to the city, those effects tend to be positive. The further away you get, the harder things get, but also the better the rewards. Let's say I want to set up over, let's say here, at the Coral Forest, okay? So here we can see a summary. This is a coral forest. We have an idea how long this map is going to take. It's a medium size. We are on a Pioneer difficulty right now, very normal difficulty. The higher the difficulty, the better the rewards, of course. And we can see the modifiers right here. So in the coral forest, we have a diverse flora. So every tree has a chance of rewarding us with different bonus resources. Then we also have inspiring pressure, which is to say, as the world gets scarier and more hostile against us, our people start rising to the challenge and producing more stuff. That's great. We also have 2 unknown positive modifiers and 3 unknown negative modifiers. We'll find out what these are once we actually get into the map. Down over here, this part is very important. We can see what resources we can expect. So as we chop down trees, not only do we get wood, we get plant fiber, some meat, crystallized dew, stone, and incense. Actually, a tremendous diversity of resources just from chopping down trees. That's going to be very important for this map. And then you have your other natural resources you can expect to find while you are running around and exploring and gathering stuff up. It's important to keep an eye on this because the more experience you have with the game, the more you're going to recognize certain holes that are going to change up your economy. For example, I don't see any copper ore here, so I know that I'm probably never going to get any copper bars to make tools. I'm going to rely very heavily on stuff like this crystallized dew in order to make the tools that I need to progress, right? So every game ends up having a different economy based on what resources are actually available. Let's go ahead and start it with our caravan. Now, there are 4 species in the game that are part of your empire. You have the beavers, you have humans, lizard folk, and harpies, which are not shown right now. Right now, I can have 8 beavers or 4 humans and 5 lizard folk and different starting materials. I'm going to go for the beavers because I've learned here that the trees have a lot of really good stuff, and beavers are, unsurprisingly, great at taking down trees. So we'll take all of this, Plus, I have 3 points I can spend to get some extra resources. Let's get some extra food since beavers aren't the best at getting that up, plus some extra lumber just to kind of get me started. That's fine, let's embark. Now we can take a look at our modifiers. So when the rain is just a simple drizzle, we are going to have royal funding. We get amber every time we sell goods, okay. And then we're going to have forest offerings. Every solved dangerous or forbidden glade event gives me 30 random food. Interesting. But then there are negative events because the storm is going to oscillate between a nice drizzle versus a hard storm. So we are going to be having humid climates, which make fuel worse during the storm. Then we have acid rain, so recipes producing building materials have less goods whenever it's storming outside. And melancholy. What does this one do? Villagers have less resolve. Interesting. Okay, well that's going to be kind of unpleasant, but let's go ahead and get started here. This is going to be a long video, by the way. I'm just going to warn you of that up front. It's going to happen. So here we are in our starting village. We have a storage location for all of our starting off resources, and we have an ancient hearth. This hearth is important because it houses a holy flame which keeps people warm and wards off the storm. If this ever goes out and we run out of fuel entirely, we lose. So we need to keep this thing burning. There's all of our little people over here. These are my beavers. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and just set up some paths along here real quick because, I mean, you're always going to do that. You want to have roads to get around. It just makes things easier. And then we're going to take a look down over here with Resolve where we can pick up some new buildings. The queen is sending us some different buildings we can choose from. Which ones do we want? Well, this is where the game starts getting a bit tricky. So, for example, I know that I'm going to be chopping down a lot of wood, and I know that I'm going to need a lot of planks in order to build out a lot of stuff in this town. It might make sense to pick up something like a lumber mill. Other buildings, though, like let's say a clothier, can produce coats at a very good and efficient rate, but other things, not so much. Coats are great for my beavers, but I feel like planks are going to be better. Wine, pickle goods, jerky, this is going to make my beavers very happy, but I don't have the resources necessary to use these yet, so I'm not sure this is the pick I want to go for. I'm going to take the lumber mill because I think that's kind of safe. But what this tells me is I now have a very good method of producing planks and, to a degree, scrolls and trade goods. I don't necessarily need any more buildings that produce planks. What else do we get? An herb garden where we can gather up roots and herbs. Okay, that's for farming. That's really good if we had humans, not so good this second, but might be important later. A forager camp would let us gather a bunch of things here, or an herbalist camp to gather others. I don't remember for sure which of these the map has. I'm pretty sure I saw insects and such, so the forager camp might make some sense. Herb garden is okay, but I think I'm going to take this one. And then for our third pick, a kiln to produce coal, a good source of fuel for the fire, plus we can make bricks and jerky, or a carpenter. Now, see, I was just saying I don't need something that makes planks, but I do want something that makes simple tools. This could be very good for me. So we might want to pick up the carpenter. The leather worker would also be very tempting so we can start manufacturing fabric at a better rate. But I'm going to take this because tools are extremely valuable to me. You'll understand more about why later. So those are the only 3 extra buildings we get on top of everything else. We have a few different camps, a woodcutter camp, stonecutter camp, harvester, scavenger, that kind of stuff. We have farm fields, but unless you get the blueprint to actually place down farms, this doesn't do me much good. We have some very basic housing. We have a few industrial buildings where I can craft out materials using the raw goods that I do make. So, for example, we can make fabric or planks or bricks at a workstation. And then, of course, here's my lumber mill, which is even better at stuff like that. Or we could place down, let's say, some extra storage. We could try to expand out the hearth. We could get a trading post, blah, blah, blah. And then there's some decorations. First thing I want to do, place down a couple of these camps. Now, in this world, right, you have mostly just a lot, and I mean a lot of forest. Everywhere you look, we have dense, dense trees. And within those trees, we have glades. These are little openings amongst the trees. Most of these are going to have some resources inside, but we won't know what they are until we open these up. So it's worth trying to chop down the trees and open these, find resources, and then plan out your economy accordingly. Some glades are large and dangerous, represented by this symbol right here. They usually have some sort of a challenge inside of them, some sort of a threat that we'll have to overcome, spending resources, especially simple tools, by the way, in order to overcome them within a certain amount of time, otherwise bad things are going to happen. But you tend to get rewarded with some really good stuff if you can do that. We don't want to shy away from risk here. We want to charge straight into it if we feel like we have the resources to spare. So it's a high risk, high reward kind of play. For now, let's get 2 woodcutter camps set up over here. We'll have these built up, and then we're going to click on this button right here to tell people where specifically to take down some trees. I want to cut into, let's say, this glade. So we'll do that. I'd also like to cut into this glade. So let's mark out some trees. Same thing right over here, right? So that's very important. We have those set up. Now let's go ahead and assign my beavers. Once you have a building constructed, we can click here and we can assign some workers to go over here and do this job. So I've got a bunch of beavers, and beavers, it so happens, have a bonus when it comes to chopping down trees, so it makes a lot of sense to have them over here. Now, while they're gathering all of that, there are other things that I can worry about. Let's start setting up some shelters for now. This is going to let me get some housing for people because they don't like living out in the rain, so we can do this. That at least gets me 6 housing spots for my 8 beavers. It's going to improve things a little bit. Why does that matter? Because every species you have has something here called resolve. If your resolve is high, you actually start gaining reputation to win the game. If it falls down below 0, people start leaving your town. That's not good. Every species has different needs, though. We can see that the beavers like being sheltered. They'd even be happier if they had proper housing dedicated to their type. They like eating biscuits or pickled goods. They want clothes. They want to have leisure time, education, and luxuries. All of that matters. Again, build it up high, good things happen. Don't get enough, get down to 0, bad things happen. How do you actually win the game, though? Well, if we take a look down here at the bottom, we have this meter here for reputation. As we complete objectives for the queen and make people happy, we're going to find our reputation goes up. Fill this meter out, and we win. On the contrast, though, we have the queen's impatience. The longer we take to complete objectives, or the worse things are going for us, the more impatient she becomes before she tells us to abandon this and we lose the map. So the goal is basically to race to get your reputation high while keeping the queen's impatience relatively low. The queen does give us a few benefits, though. If we take a look up over here, we can see a cornerstone. This is kind of like picking up some perks or some talents you would find from some other roguelites, and this is part of what's going to change up every game. So we have the blood price contract. Whenever someone leaves or dies, we gain amber, a trade good. Or we have silent looting. Scouts are better at approaching abandoned caches and don't create a lot of hostility. Or we are very good at gathering reeds. I'm going to go for silent looting because hostility is something that kind of sneaks up on me. So let's do that. Then we have orders. This is also from the queen. We can pick a couple of different orders, objectives that we need to complete. If we can complete them, we get some of that reputation and we tend to get some sort of reward. So for example, if we were to place down a forager's camp and gather up some vegetables and some insects, we'd be able to get better at producing insects, plus we'd get some stone and 2 new villagers and some reputation. That's a little harder to do because I haven't found a good source of vegetables and such yet, but maybe we'll find that later. Or, alternatively, we could say let's produce some planks. Produce planks, she'll give us even more planks, plus some fabric and some bricks. So this has the better long-term potential. This is an easy one for me to do, and it gets me reputation. So let me just check real quick. Have we discovered any source of vegetables and stuff? Not quite yet. So I'm a bit wary of going for that mission right now. Let me just see. If I place down a forager's camp, nope, I have absolutely no idea what I can gather right now. So I could wait to accept this order, or I can just go for it. I think I'm going to take the one that I know I can beat, because all these resources are good regardless. I'm hoping these are here somewhere, but I don't know. I'm going to have to just accept the weaker reward. Now we're going to pick another order. We can build a trading post and get some amber. That gets me biscuits, parts, and simple tools. I like that. Or get a scavenger's camp and a stonecutter's camp, and we'll get some clay, some reeds, and some parts. I like this, but I think I'm going to go for the trading post because that's something I'm definitely going to do, and simple tools are very valuable. For my third and final objective here, if we can discover 4 glades, we get a few bonuses, including more carry capacity. That's good. Or if we can trade at least 12 amber worth of stuff to traders, we're going to get even more stuff. You know what? If we're already going to focus on going for some early trade, why not? Let's just double up on this, even though I like this reward a lot. I like the idea of getting some more newcomers and even more simple tools. All right, those are my 3 objectives right now. So we need to meet these as quickly as possible and get that reputation up. Let's go ahead and just get these glades explored, find out what's over here, and we'll have a better idea what I'm working with. Okay, we've discovered another glade, and sure enough, this actually had some vegetables and some insects. Not a lot of them, though. There's a chance I would have been able to fulfill that other order, but I don't think I made the wrong choice per se, at least not yet. So over here, let's go ahead and set up a scavenger camp using my last beaver. He's going to get some eggs. That is a simple food source. I will say I think resource management, or at least knowing from the UI what you have, is probably one of the hardest parts of this game. You got food up over here, broken down into several categories. Then we have different building materials. Then we have our crafting resources. And then we have our fuel and our exploration resources. And then apparently now also some consumable items in the form of some incense. That'll be very nice to us later. Okay, now in this glade up over here, we discovered something. There's a bunch of these spread out all over the world. We have a small encampment. If over here we were to drop off some sort of food, let's say some eggs, right? We could send some people over here and welcome 2 new folks into the town. We have a harpy and a lizard. Getting more people would not be a bad idea right now. Or alternatively, we could send whatever's over here to the Citadel and get paid in some amber, which I would be using for trade. Actually kind of tempting, since it sounds like trade is something I'm going to want, but I think we'll have other opportunities. It would be kind of nice to get a couple of extra workers, and actually I've never had a harpy before. So let's go over here, take the beaver I just unassigned over here, we're going to send some eggs, we're going to welcome some new people, and we're going to investigate. Once the beaver has dropped off the resources, we'll have to wait for about 1 minute, and then once that's complete, we get our reward. Just like so. Okay, now we have some extra people. So I've never seen a harpy. What do they need? They also need their own special kinds of housing. They like eating jerky. Well, that's something they share with the lizards. They also like eating skewers. Okay, so the same kind of food types appeal very much for them. That's very nice. Biscuits, too. So the harpies just like to eat, huh? Also brawl, they like education, and they like being clean? Huh. I don't think anyone else cares about cleanliness, so that's something unique. I mean, ideally, depending on what makeup of population you have, you want to produce enough resources with overlap between multiple species, get their resolve above this blue line, and you start getting passive reputation gain, which is really, really powerful. Okay, that's interesting. We'll need more housing for these people, but let's put them to work. I'll send the lizard over here, and then what is a harpy good at? They are excelling at science, and they like working with cloth. Huh, well, I don't have any of that yet, but I'll keep that in mind. Here's another glade, and oh, this one has a lot more of the broccoli and stuff. Okay, well, we could have gone for that other option. I need to get myself a lumber mill up and running to fulfill that plank objective. We really need to do something, otherwise the queen's impatience is going to get quite high. Unfortunately, I don't have any fabric, and I don't have any bricks. So, at least temporarily, we're going to go ahead and set up one of these crude workstations. And over here, we can start fabricating some planks, some fabric, some bricks out of whatever materials we've got. In this case, not much, actually. Oh boy, we have very little on this map. This is potentially going to be a bit of a problem, actually. So you know what? Just so I can fulfill my objective, let's focus on getting some planks built up using the wood that I am currently producing. We have another cornerstone that's coming through. Okay. Rebellious Spirit. Gain resolve for every 2 impatience points. So the more impatient the queen is, the happier people are. Actually could kind of work for me a little bit. Extraction tools, artifacts. This is a special currency you can use in the world map, so getting these is great. For every 2 dangerous or forbidden glade events solved, we get some artifacts. I like that. Or protected trade, there is less hostility in the forest whenever we sell at least 25 worth of amber. Huh. Okay. Well, Rebellious Spirit feels really powerful. I'm going to take the risk and go for the extraction tools, because if I can find a way to solve this map, those artifacts are going to help me in the long run. So when we talk about hostility, what do we mean by that? Well, up over here on the right, the forest itself is hostile to us. The more we are chopping down the trees, the more glades we open, the more events we resolve, the more hostile it becomes, and that starts to upset a lot of people and make them scared. But remember, the more hostile it is, the more productive our people are because of this map's particular perk. So I want the hostility to be under control, but I don't want it to be 0. I mean, it actually would be very good for me for this to go up by a couple of levels, to a degree, as long as I can handle it. Which maybe I can, maybe I can't. I don't know. We also have more people that are joining us. Do we want more harpies and lizards and stuff? I mean, I guess, sure. Plus some clay and vegetables? Okay. Yeah, why not? Let's do that, and then we'll assign, let's say, an extra beaver over here temporarily just to get these planks going. Then we'll probably swap some things around as we get our fabric. We also have new orders from the queen. Okay, make a bunch of clothes or make some trade goods and get some amber together. Do that, gain amber for every pack of trade goods produced. A tax. That would be interesting. So if we're going to go for a very trade-focused build on this particular map, this would be very strong. Alternatively, ooh, the idea of being able to make more fabric is highly attractive to me. But for that, I would need a lot of clothes. We didn't get a clothier, so I guess I'll go for trade connections. I'm kind of doubling down here. I'm not used to going for the trade game, but that's what a lot of this is going to require here. And then for another order, same kind of deal, actually. Get some building materials and some packs of crops to sell. You get some extra resolve for our harpies and more harpies. That's not bad. or get some coal and some oil, better at making coal, fuel burns longer in the hearths, and fuel recipes are faster. I think I would actually just rather do this. We are really doubling down hard on going for trade here. That means I need to be very careful with my next round of reputation and whatever buildings I get. We need to make sure we are meeting these other objectives so I can ramp up very aggressively. I'm kind of sensing this is going to be a slow burn start, but if we can find the scene, then this is just going to take off and I'm going to suddenly win. I'm going to try placing down this harvester's camp over here because there are a couple of sources of reeds. We'd like to at least start gathering some of that. Maybe we can turn that into some cloth. We'll have the harpies try to work on getting some bricks or some fabric up and running. You can change what kind of materials you use for recipes or at least enable certain types. So for example, I've got a fair bit of plant fiber coming in. I have some leather, but maybe I want to save the leather for something else. So we have this disabled. But once I get reeds, sure, go ahead and use that to make some fabric. Same thing over here. If I can find some stone, please make bricks. I am in desperate need of those. The good news is that's about to become a lot easier, though. We've got the 10 planks that I need to fulfill my objective. We'll do this. The queen will give me some reputation plus some of those resources I'm currently lacking. Boom, we get a little reputation, and now I can pick another building. What do we have here? Herbalist camp, small farm, plantation. Okay. So 2 of these are taking advantage of farm fields, which we have discovered some of these. If you place these down and have people working the farms, you'll be able to gather up, in this case, either grain or vegetables, or berries and plant fiber. Well, it seems like people are really happy to have things like, I don't know, biscuits? So I'm kind of leaning toward maybe a small farm, get some grain. We can either make some ale for leisure, or we can start turning that into flour and then bread. But if I don't find a way to mill some of these resources down, this doesn't do me a lot of good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try for the small farm, get the grain, though I admit that might be a little bit of a misplay on my part. It's just I'm more used to going for grain, so that's what I'm going to do. So these are the small farm areas I've been talking about. This is fertile soil. You have a chance at finding some in some of these glades. You need to place down a small farm near it, so something like, let's say here, and then you have to place down these little farms on top of it, like so. So once we build this, if we have any farmers, they'll work within this range on any of the fertile fields that have a farm attached, and we can start growing something. But first, we're going to go ahead and get this lumber mill up and running. I'm not going to fabricate any scrolls, and I could make trade goods later if I can get some other stuff. For now, we'll turn this off. I only want people to be making planks. So we'll do this, and then over here, we'll disable planks, because we have a better, more efficient way of producing it over here. It only takes 3 wood to make 2, instead of 8 to make 2. That's why you want to have very highly rated buildings. But we do want to continue making at least some fabric and bricks, so I'll leave these people alone where they are. Now, one really helpful thing, your camps can be moved. So we can pick up this woodcutter's camp and just move it directly over here. Because I'm kind of worried that I'm not finding a lot of resources I need. I think we need to chop into one of these big, dangerous glades and see what kind of event we can deal with. We need to take on some risks to get some more reward. So we're going to move this to a much closer location and go ahead and start clearing this area out. Another cornerstone has arrived. With every new villager, we could get some provisions. Okay. Or the academy gets 20 reeds and clay for every new discovered glade. Wow. Or if we can find a source of stone, we can become really good at producing stone. I can chop into some glades. This would help keep me afloat to a degree as far as producing some fabric and some bricks or pottery. If I found stone, I like this better. But there's no guarantee I'm going to find stone. But it is on this map somewhere. It's got to be. And we need stone, badly. I'm going to take the steel pickaxes. I'm banking on us finding a deposit sometime soon. But there's got to be stone. It said it was somewhere on this map. It's got to be somewhere. It's probably in one of these big glades. And as far as getting some more people, I don't know. We could get some coal to kind of keep the fire going for a bit. Or I could just get some extra beavers and stuff. You know, more people in total. Yeah, I'll do this. I wouldn't mind getting, honestly, at this point, a third woodcutter if we can. Maybe, or we could just assign more people over here to keep making things like planks. Yeah, maybe we do that. If I've got the resources, and I do, let's go ahead and build up the trading post probably about now. Because a lot of our missions are ultimately going to be based around this, so I feel like the sooner we can get this going, probably the better. Really want to chop into this, though. If I can find an event that I can resolve for some amber, I'll be able to spend that, and simply in the act of trading some amber, that'll be enough to make some people happy. So we've broken in. What do we see here? Well, there's quite a lot of resources, but no stone. What do you know? Okay, also, some interesting things here, like a rain spirit totem. So this is a threat. If we leave this going, in 10 minutes, something's going to happen. It's going to destroy all of my roads, and our movement speed is going to be reduced. That's terrible. Alternatively, though, we can spend some resources. For example, we have a lot of planks, but apparently nothing else. Okay. Spend some of those in order to get rid of this. Once that we start that process, the hostility of the forest goes up by a lot. But once we're done with this, it goes away. Then we can salvage some stuff. We can get a bundle of scrolls and incense, or we could convert the rain totem, and we can reduce hostility in total by 50. I guess I'd rather go for the salvage, because these will be useful to me later to meet some needs, like education and religion. So I like that, but I do need to assign some other people. Tell you what, our beavers kind of suck at farming right now anyway. Let's go ahead and assign both of these guys over here. Send some of those planks, salvage this stuff. Here we go. New orders have arrived from the Queen. What do we want here? Get some farms and some crops. Okay, we're actually kind of already doing that, and we can become very good at making grain. I like that. Or rebuild or salvage a ruin in the forest somewhere, plus get some provisions, which I don't know that I can make yet. That would get me some tools and stuff. I'm going to do this one because I'm pretty confident I can make this. I'm definitely going to rebuild or salvage a ruin. Let's pick this one. All right, next order. We have to make the lizards very happy above 20 resolve, which, by the way, is very high for a long time. Do that plus some provisions, get more of them, and we get a lot of meat production. Okay. Or produce ale at a tavern. We haven't got the tavern yet, but I'll probably get one at some point, maybe. If we do that, we're good at making ale by a lot. So I think I'll take this. This should make people happy. We need to get leisure at some point anyway. We're making a lot of assumptions in this run, and that's kind of scaring me right now. I am banking on getting things that so far have not shown up. But our trader has arrived. Okay, so we needed to trade a fair bit worth of amber. If I sold... I hate to sell off my crystallized dew, but if we keep finding more, this is okay. We'll be able to get more of this later. I need to get some amber. And yeah, we could sell like all 18 and get 10. And I could buy stuff from him, but I think for now, we could just trade this for some amber directly. And I think that's what we're going to do. We'll trade for 8. Plus something else if I can get it. I don't really care what it is, just something vaguely useful. Sure, a brick. I don't care. All right, we'll do that. Trade those. Boom. That should finish one of my orders. So we'll get some reputation, plus we'll get some biscuits, some parts, and some of those tools that I'm looking for. So we deliver that. That gets me a new building. What can we get? Scribe for scrolls, ale, and tools. No. Kiln? Probably not. Smokehouse? Maybe. The lizards and the harpies really like jerky. If I can get some consistent meat, this would be worth a lot of really good food. Between the 3 options, I think this is my best bet, so we're going to pick that one up. If I can get just a little bit more amber, selling off planks hurts, but if I can do that, that'll actually finish off another mission as well. So, okay, let's get myself some amber. That's exactly what I need. I guess we'll have to do that. It's not perfect, but it's fine. Take that. By the way, if you have a lot of amber stored up, you can buy perks. For example, we produce crystallized dew even better, or more goods from the mines, and so on. So getting a lot of amber on hand is kind of nice. Anyway, so that finishes up another order, which gets me more tools, plus some more people. That's what I was looking for. A bit painful, but wood is one of the only things I'm good at making because I have a lot of beavers. What's another building we can get since we have that reputation? There's the clothier. Okay. Pack of provisions and flour. Yes. Okay. We wanted to have a way of grinding down some of that wheat into something usable, and this also gets me my provisions. Let's take the provisioner. We could try putting you up now. We can afford it, but I don't think I have any grain yet, so there's not a lot of point in doing that this exact second. Let's hold off. I do need to start producing some trade goods. This is something I need to do. What does it take to make these? Barrels, pottery, flour, oil, or pigment, or water skins. Yeah, so flour and barrels are the only thing I'll be able to make with the provisioner. So yes, okay. If we're going to fulfill that objective, I need to have a provisioner up and running. Are you starting to see why this game is kind of all about being adaptable? There's just enough randomness in this game that you really need to be able to read the land, see what resources you've got, and try to predict what you're going to get, and then kind of build accordingly. There is no one-size-fits-all meta strategy that's always going to carry you to victory. Not in this game. Okay, now see, here's something that kind of starts to scare me. So now that the storm is hit, resolve is going down a lot. Because we don't have a very high threshold of resolve for the lizards, it's starting to tick down. Once this goes below 0, they're going to start to leave me. So the higher your resolve, actually it's actually going to happen with the harpies right now. I'm not sure we're going to be able to time this out where we keep the harpy long enough. Maybe. Having a lot of time before it hits 0 means there's a chance for the storm to go away. It's going to be close. I think we're going to lose one of my harpies. Ah, drat. That's going to suck, but I don't know if there's anything I can do about it. It just kind of is what it is. Unless... Hang on. Wait, what if I took my harpy? Hang on. We stop doing these missions, and I send more of you to go work on something you like doing, which is working on fabrics. No, that didn't solve it. Dang it. It was worth a shot. All right, there goes one of them. Boo! All right. But the storm ends. Resolve goes back up. We're okay. What are we going to get for our next cornerstone? Produce barrels for every 10 planks produced. Okay. Or crowded houses, or another chance for that whole rebellious spirit thing. You know, that would have been enough to actually save me from losing a harpy. I like the idea of getting free barrels, because I'll be producing planks anyway, and trade goods mean I can finish my stuff, but I'm going to take the rebellious spirit. That boosts resolve up a little bit. It just kind of buys me a little bit of extra insurance. All right, who are we going to get to make up for the ones we lost? Well, I think I'll just take the extra people. I've built up a smokehouse over here. Now we can take a lot of the insects or the meat that we've been getting and turn that into jerky, and that's going to make our lizards and our harpies a lot happier. So I'm going to assign 2 of my lizards over here. They tend to be happier when working with meat, and they have a chance of producing extra bonus resources, so this will be fine. Using the meat will save the insects in case there's something I can do as far as making some incense at a later date. Okay, new glade opened. What do we find here? Living matter. Okay. If we can deal with this, and it doesn't look like it's going to take me any resources, while working on it, we are going to have food disappear. That sucks. Well, the faster we can deal with it, the better. We'll get 20 amber out of the arrangement, plus some ancient tablets, which can sell for a lot. Leave this alone, and everyone starts feeling sick. That would be terrible. So we can't leave this be as on its own. We have to deal with it. Hey, look! Stone deposits! Thank God! So let's go ahead and set up a stonecutter's camp as well. Do we have enough parts for all this? Fortunately, we do, so we'll be okay. Plus, I was going to send a extra beaver or 2 to go work in this direction and chop into another one of these small glades. Okay, how are we doing as far as crops? We're producing some. Not doing anything with it yet, but we are producing some. There we go. All right, decaying food should be just about done. Now we just need to clear out all of my rewards, which won't take long. That's going to be very good for when the next trader comes, which will be in about 3 minutes. We could increase the Queen's impatience and call the trader to come by immediately if it's an emergency, but I'm okay with waiting for now. Another glade, okay, and it looks like we have yet more orders from the Queen. Okay, what do we got here? Get some scrolls, we have a bunch, and build a temple. You know, that is something I absolutely want to do. This is a high priority for me. Also, keep goods? I don't know what this is. It's apparently from a glade event. I've never seen it before, so I'm going to take the one that I've seen before and have some idea what's going to happen. For the next one, clear out 2 of the forbidden or dangerous glades, and then solve any event, get a reward. Now, see, copper is not very useful to me. I can't do anything with this. We're only going to get this source of copper, and that's it. There's nothing else on the map. So this doesn't excite me very much. It kind of comes down to, we know we're going to clear out these glades anyway. Do I just want the reputation and 3 people, and maybe we use this, maybe we don't? But right now, I have no idea if I'm going to have a building for luxury goods. I don't think I have a carpenter. Right? This is not a carpenter. This is a lumber mill. Let me just double check. Actually, I do have a carpenter. Oh! Wait, okay. Nope, that solves that problem. We can do this. Cool. Let's go for this objective. We'll try for it. It seems better. I want to point out, by the way, that after getting the jerky and stuff up and running, my lizards are happy. They have reached that threshold of their resolve, which means my reputation is passively going up by 0.06 per minute. That's not a lot, but every little bit helps. Remember, we're in a race against time against the Queen's impatience. It looks bad so far, because it is, but hopefully we'll get around it. Over here, I have a provisioner, so we can start making the flour. I don't have any copper, but we do have crystallized dew we're extracting out of the forest, so we could start making barrels. For now, I think I just go for the flour. And then as far as pack of provisions, that was not one of my missions, so we're not going to worry about that right now. Let's just start milling this stuff out, because I know I can turn that into packs of food later. One thing that worries me is I don't actually have a method of getting packs of crops. That's gonna be a bit of a problem. Yes, I do. It's at the makeshift post. I suppose we could set one of these up temporarily, and that way we can start producing them if I find that I have a lot of excess goods. It's not gonna be great, though. All right, trader has arrived. This time I've got lots of amber to work with. I just need to retain 8 of it in order to continue with my quest. So I need to sell off, or no, own 5 packs of trade goods. Okay. What else could we do? Well, we could get better at making fabric. We could have people work fast, move faster. Or we could get plant fibers for all the vegetables. None of those are outstanding for me. You don't actually have a lot that I care about, if I'm honest. There's not a lot here that's of value to me. It's kind of unfortunate. Well, we could sell off some of the ancient tablets and get a bunch of amber as a result. That could help. And then, what else would I want to get beyond that? I will grab at least a little bit of clay. I'm going to make this trade. I'm going to take some of my excess amber, and we're going to make our woodcutters move faster. That's a pretty powerful perk, I think, because we have a lot of woodcutters, and we get a lot from the wood because of this particular map seed. Normally, I would say I don't think that's worth it, but in this case, might actually be good. Anyway, new cornerstone. Let's see. Fuel recipes are faster. Extra production for all packs of goods. Very helpful for me. Holy crud. Yes. I have so many different packs I need to make. Doubling that production is huge. Also some newcomers. Let's see. Lots of harpies and a couple beavers for a lot of insects, or some clothes and other stuff. This clothes is not going to last for very long, though. Do we want more lizards or no? Honestly, we're pretty good with lizards, so maybe? Yeah, let's pick these guys up. We're pretty good at taking care of our lizard buddies. Okay, what else can we build over here? We've got our carpenter. That lets me start making some simple tools. If I had other stuff, I could use the crystallized bars for this again. That's where these are so darn helpful. Make the tools like that. Don't even make planks here, ever. Luxury goods. Ale, blah, blah, blah. I guess my only option really is to use things like incense. I'll try not to use scrolls. We still haven't found a temple yet. Hoping we're going to find that at some point. But for now, let's go ahead and start producing these. I get 3 per pack. Wow. Yeah, that's going to be really helpful. Now, let's see. At the makeshift post, we don't care about the packs of provisions, but I do care about things like the packs of crops. For this, I'm going to need a lot of grain, and for that, we need to stop making flour for at least a bit. So we'll turn that off, make a lot of grain, get these packs of crops up and running. And then there's packs of building materials. I could use fabric for this, or planks. Not bricks, though. Those are precious. Yeah, let's start making a bunch of these. Okay, we have some packs of crops. I can go and fulfill an order. Thankfully. Okay, done. We get a bunch of extra people, plus we now have a lot of Harpy Resolve, which is good, plus some extra parts. 2 new orders have come in. These are the last ones. We could spend some stone and get paved roads, and that will pay very handsomely. Or we could go for a lot of my wood plus some packs of provisions, which I can do, and get some people. Honestly, this is worth a ton to me. Let's go ahead and do this. That's 30 stone for a load of stuff. And then we pick our last order. More trade goods, okay? Or serving the people gets a bunch of things. Okay, this is a little bit too much. I don't think I have the buildings necessary to make things like pickled goods. We already need to do trade goods later anyway. Let's pick that one up. Okay, here we go. Next building. Harpy house, lizard house, or beaver house. Well, if we're going to take this, we have to take the beaver. Well, no, we don't have to. I was going to say we need to take the beaver house because we have mostly beavers in our colony, 16 in total. That would get their resolve up a fair bit, but not enough to start generating passive reputation. The lizards and the harpies are a lot easier to please. If I were to build some harpy houses, what do you think the odds are that we would be able to get enough resolve with them to start passively generating some reputation and get out of this? I feel like pretty good, actually. Yeah, let's take the Harpy house. We'll stack up some modifiers between I just got as a perk, or yeah, what I just got as an order perk over here, plus those houses, and that should get their resolve a lot higher. Let's go ahead and turn on the pack of trade goods. This is where my flour actually comes in handy. I haven't been able to turn that into bread so far, but we can at least get trade goods up and running. And that will help me fulfill a couple more of these. We almost have enough packs of crops, too, by the way, so we can stop turning all of our grain into trade goods instead. Another cornerstone. Deserted caravans. Gold production is faster, but trading unavailable. Terrible for me. Absolutely not. Ancient pact. Gain knowledge of what's in all the glades, but whenever we open one, someone dies. No thank you. Or whenever we trade, hostility goes down. You know what? We're going to be trading a lot anyway. That seems completely fine with me. Let us stop making anything at this building as soon as they are done with this next run, which is like so. Goodbye. I shouldn't need this makeshift post ever again. And then as far as some more people, you know what? We're good with harpies. Let's just take harpies. And sure enough, we have enough resolve that we are generating some of that reputation. Okay, but the impatience is getting quite high. Good thing we've got that rebellious spirit, huh? Okay, so we have our trade goods, we have the amber, we have the farm fields, we have the crops. That's 2 more orders done. Boom, so that gets me a lot of extra amber every time we are producing some trade goods. That's fantastic. Traders come by quicker, and we're about to get a lot more grain and have people arrive to join in our colony. Okay, that's all great. So, anyone homeless at the moment? Surprisingly, no. Everyone's got housing. Okay, all these extra harpy houses have helped a lot. Cool, so now it's about producing lots of luxury goods and trade goods. Then we just need to find some more stuff. What's our next building? The bakery is good. The smelter would let me start making crystallized dew, but otherwise isn't very good. Clothier would make the beavers happy, but that's about it. Between all of these, I think I'm going to take the bakery. I can start making biscuits or pie. Oh, and let's not forget we also wanted to get paved roads, which boosts people movement speed by 15%. So we'll place this along some of the main walkways kind of like this, and I don't know if that's 30, but it should be close. We have a lot more of our simple tools now, by the way. So if I wanted to, I think we're going to send this to the Citadel. That should be fine. I'm going to send some harpies to go and take care of that. Let's investigate. If you've got a lot of extra simple tools sitting around, by the way, this is not a bad time to go ahead and open up a big glade, because a lot of the events that can happen can be resolved simply by using tools. I value them a lot for that exact reason. Also, we have a lot of excess resources in general, and we have a trader that just arrived in case we need to trade for something important. So, like more tools, or the infused tools. I don't really care. So, yeah, let's just open up some new glades and see what challenges befall us. And also turn in the stone roads, which gets me 24 more simple tools. Heck yes. Heck yes. All right, brickyard. Herbalist camp, we want this probably. Or actually, wait, no, temple. That's something we needed for another mission. We'll go ahead and pick that one up. Temple is going to be good. We can start using our incense to get some religion, which makes a couple of our species happy. And we can use our scrolls to get education, which is going to make the other ones happy. So all the way around, it's going to be a win. Okay, what do we discover in this glade now? We found a cemetery for a hidden trader. Okay, leave this be for long enough, and we get impatience, and all of my goods are worth 50% less. Ouch. Or we can spend some of our goods in order to reveal what's going on here and gain hostility every 60 seconds. Ouch. Ouch. Okay. Well, I guess we'll use some basic tools on this one, and let's go ahead and get rid of it. Do we want the fragrant roots? Gain incense for all roots produced, plus some of these, or more reputation. This just lets me win faster at this point. I don't really need the incense, so let's go ahead and do that. There's another event here for some big encampments to get more people, but I don't feel like I need that right now. Not too helpful. Let's just try cracking into a bunch of these little stockpiles and get the reputation plus the amber. We have enough luxury goods. I will turn this one in. That gets me 5 more people plus that reputation, but not enough reputation to get more buildings. That's unfortunate. And, we got a lot of people who are homeless now. Great. There we go. Glade event solved. Get some extra reputation. What do we get next? None of these are outstanding for me. I guess we could get a plantation. Sure, we'll pick a plantation up instead. That'll be fine. Okay, now the storm's getting really bad, in part thanks to all this hostility. We're gonna start losing some people now. Yeah, the beavers are about to get really angry. Okay, fair enough. Okay. We're kind of out of time here, to be honest. Wine, pickle goods, jerky. You know, I don't know what we would do with wine, but I can make berries now, so maybe this would do it in order to make the beavers happier. I don't know. Beavers are notoriously hard to please. They're a very, very good species, but they're hard to make work. Yeah, we're going to lose at least 1, maybe 2 beavers by the end of this. That is unfortunate. Oh, man, we're going to lose a harpy too? Ugh. It's fine, it's fine. We come through the storm. More people are going to join me in a little bit. More cornerstones. Double yields. One of the effects of biscuits. Don't have that. Gain resolve for cosmetics. I don't have any. And then mushrooms. None of these are really going to do me any good, if I'm honest. These are all terrible. Well, I guess we'll take the biscuit diet because maybe theoretically someday I could do that, but it's not very likely to happen. Whoa, what is this? An open vault. Uh-huh. Okay, all woodcutters and gatherers get minus 14 to resolve while working on this? Jeezums. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Kill all living things within 20 fields. Oh my god, this thing is awful. Right, I kind of regret cracking that open. Here's the fun thing, though. I think I can ignore it. I think I can. We're just going to let this go. We're going to go ahead and try to crack open the last of these abandoned crates. If I can get a few more trade goods, we'll be able to send that all off to the queen, and I think that's enough reputation to get me to win. So we should be all right here. We should be okay. Just a few more precious seconds, and we'll be golden. We got up to 4 hostility here, by the way. Yikes. And there we go. Okay. When you do defeat a level, you get some XP, which are going to unlock new tiers of upgrades back at the Smoldering City. We do, of course, collect our rewards. I got some extra artifacts out of this particular map, which is nice. And we finished some deeds by beating 3 games, discovering a total of 30 glades, and also winning on the Coral Forest. You get these, are like 50 XP extra each. So I should be able to get up to level 6 now. We could continue playing here, but once you're done, there's not really a lot of point. You might as well just go ahead and stop and move on to the next one. So these are now the 3 settlements I've built up. If we go to the Smoldering City over here, we could go to our deeds, turn these in real quick, just get the 50 XP. So that's enough to get me to level 6, which unlocks a few new types of buildings and special perks that can happen. Reinforced roads, ranches, trade hubs. Yeah, all very cool. Get that lastly, and then let's take a look at upgrades. So here you can see, we've got quite a few new things we can upgrade, and this goes on for a while. So this game encourages you to play for a very, very, very long time, if you so feel like it. Let's go for, I don't know, extra blueprints, so I'm more likely to get things I want, or extra permanent storage, or more embarkment, or an essential building, a human house. You know, we don't have human houses yet. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and unlock that too. Perfect. All right, and now I'm a little bit stronger and ready for a more difficult run next time, way out over here. So I think this game is really fun. It's got a lot of replayability to it. It's certainly very challenging. Every map is completely different. It's really more of a game about puzzling out the landscape and being adaptable and flexible in your strategy, knowing when to take a risk and when to reap that reward. Very, very cool idea for a game. Definitely not your typical city builder, but it really stands out as a result. So Potato McWhiskey, you found a good one. Well done. This actually is the kind of game that I could really play a lot on the channel. It'd be kind of fun and episodic content, so I'm going to be paying attention to see how you guys react and see if you guys really enjoy this game. If you like it, I don't know, we might see a lot more of this going forward. Thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.